This is the Birthing Truth podcast where we spill our unvarnished, honest, and naked truth. I am Courtney Elaine.
And I'm Bluez. If you'd like to be a guest on the Birth and Truth podcast, hit us up at birthandtruthpodcast@gmail.com.
Today's guest would like you to know that he is an introverted extrovert, a crystal enthusiast, and he used to eat fried chicken sometimes on the weekends when he was a vegan.
Welcome, Levi Thee Great. Levi, what's that? Are you claiming?
What's happening, man? So glad to be here. How y'all doing?
We
We're
good, bro.
good.
What set are you claiming?
I am claiming greatness and opportunity and manifestation.
Oh, all right.
All right.
Courtney, what set are you claiming?
I am claiming forgiveness.
Forgiveness, that's a good one. And I am claiming confidence. Confidence.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So
Cause
why you feeling all confident and stuff?
because I was talking on the phone to my little boo or my little yeah or whatever, not official at all. And I mean, they or she, whichever one you choose, has said, has said, you know what? You are really coming into your own, and I can see it. And I was like, really? And it's like, yeah. And so I think it's because I'm about to be 40, bucket 40. I don't give a fuck what you think. So,
Okay.
Darren, why are you claiming the set that you are claiming?
Oh my God, because I don't know. Well, I know exactly. Like around my birthday and everything, it was just so much creative juices just flowing, and it was so much opportunity brewing. It still is, and I just really felt myself coming into my own. I did a lot of things that I usually wouldn't do. Like I'm more comfortable about dressing how I want to dress. At one point, was worried about being too masculine or too feminine. And now I don't care about any of that. If I want to wear all pink, I'm going to wear all pink. If I want to wear all purple, I'm going to wear all purple. Whatever it is that I want to do. So just really step into that. I didn't know that was going to come with 29. I'm not 30 yet. And I always heard that 30s are just like the best years because, you've done all that you thought that you could possibly do in your 20s, but then 30 happens. You have so much experience. You're so much more sure of yourself. There's so many more experiences there for you. So I'm just really excited about 30. As my age has gotten higher, I've had like a little bit of anxiety around it, but the older I get, the better
Well,
I feel. So it's like,
right.
let's
So, in
go.
other,
Let's go.
yeah, 30 is dope. 30 is dope. I can tell you now, we're leaving 30, so we're gonna leave it to you next year. But
Yeah.
we love 30. 30s were great, you know. Courtney, tell us why you claiming forgiveness.
I am claiming forgiveness because I'm realizing that forgiveness is a choice. I am realizing that forgiveness is not a feeling and that it does not make your feelings invalid, but it gives you power. So it's like you have the opportunity to release the person of the debt, whatever debt you feel like they caused you, you release them of that. And at the end of the day, you're the one who really gets that power because you're freeing yourself. So I'm just all about freeing myself, bringing some peace into my atmosphere, and manifesting some new things in my future. So I think we
All
all on the
right.
same level. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't
We
we?
all
Yeah.
Yeah.
coordinating and things.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, hit that thing again. Hit that thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm here for
I
that.
felt it. I felt it. All right, so this is the Google Education Degree segment of the Birth of Truth podcast. I'm Bluez.
And I'm Courtney Elaine. We have our guest, Levi the Great, joining us.
Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Anyone who stops learning, let's do it again, Courtney. My bad. This is the Google Education Degree segment of the Birth of Truth podcast. I am Bluez.
And I'm Courtney Elaine. We have our guest, Levi the Great, joining us today.
Hey.
Anyone who stops learning is old, whether 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. That's a quote from Henry Ford.
In this segment, we discussed the last thing that we Googled, or as we like to say, what we got our GED in. All righty then, let's see, who we gonna go with first? Levi, what'd you get your GED in?
I got my GED and the effects of ashwagandha, astragalus, and long cap ali. 3 different herbs that I kind of been supplementing with.
Okay, give us a brief
Very
quick little
brief. So
lesson on
basically,
each one of them.
okay, ashwagandha and astragalus are adaptogens, so they help your body glands become regulated, so you feel better. You got proper levels of serotonin, dopamine, all of the necessary things for you to operate and feel amazing. And then long cat ali is more of the sensual kind of herb, which I've been enjoying that.
Oh,
Yeah, it works. It works. Not that I was complaining before, but I came across my Instagram. I follow a lot of herb pages and stuff, and I was like, well, let me see something, and I'm glad at what I saw.
that is hilarious.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, she works in the vitamin department at Sprouts, and she was telling me about ashwagandha. So I'll be getting some of that soon. See what
Please,
it
I actually
does.
have some right here. I put it in my green tea.
Oh,
It's in
that's what you
powder
were
form.
drinking. Okay.
Yeah, it helps me be more relaxed, no anxiety, no stress, just accept life as it comes.
Okay. Peace. Tranquility. Y'all need it, child.
Yeah.
Black Blues. What did you
Okay,
Google,
so
sir?
I Googled basic street gang signs.
Oh Lord.
And the reason why I Googled that is I was teaching at I have a new group at the juvenile detention center. And I asked the little boy, I was like, what's your name? But we on Zoom and I couldn't hardly hear him. He kept going, I was like, what? What's your name? I said, sir, I can't understand you. Can you say it again? He said, CRUZ. I'm like, did that man just throw up gang signs? So I looked them up to see, like, can you spell stuff with gang signs? And you can. Oh, yes, you can. I got my GED. Like, I don't want to do them on here because I don't want nobody set tripping or trying to come
Please, no
after me.
plexing, no plexing.
No plexing, no plexing. But
No
I
black.
know how to. I know how to throw up the Crip. I know how to throw up the blood gang. It's different ways, and I even learned how to spell blood out with my fingers, like with your
Don't do
hands.
that. Don't do that.
I'm not
We
gonna
be
do it
like,
on
we
here,
want to
but
start doing
Oh,
it.
right, but I'm gonna have to look it up to see it again. But yeah, you can
You're a
actually
little
spell
rusty on your
things out.
feel.
I'm sorry.
Your fingers a little rusty, so you gotta look it up again.
That little roughy. I might need some of that Tyrannosaurus Rex that you drinking. So, Courtney,
okay.
where did you get your GED
I
in?
can't stand him.
So earlier today, I was on the phone with two of my best friends who are heathens.
Oh,
So
wait.
ended up looking up BDSM because I didn't know what that was. And
Well, you knew what
I
it was. You
found
just didn't
out.
know what it was called.
Yes, I knew what it was, but I did not know what it was called. So I'm just gonna give you a brief. Okay, it is bondage, discipline, dominance, and submission. Now you can look that up if you want to. However, I would not advise you to go and look at the images because that's what I did. And I saw some very elaborate things. And I'm gonna leave it at
Mm.
that.
Now you're gonna make me go get my GED. What you saying on there?
I need to go.
Look, both of you little filthy McNasties. Both of
That
you
Would you go
little
sounds
look
nasty
again?
rude.
selves.
Would you go
That
look
sounds
again?
rude.
It's BDSM. BDSM.
Would you go look again?
Would I go look at it? No, I don't want to go look again.
One time was
Mm-mm.
enough.
One time was enough, man. I
Oh
don't
Lord,
like
I'm
that kind
feeling
of
something
stuff.
in my aura. What's that? What's that? So if you feel so inclined, drop down in the comments. Let us know what the last thing you got your GED in. And anyone who stops learning is old, whether 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. That's a quote from Henry Ford.
In this segment, we discussed the last thing that we Googled, or as we like to say, what we got our GED in. All righty then. Let's see. Who we gonna go with first? Levi, what'd you get your GED in?
I got my GED and the effects of ashwagandha, astragalus, and long cat ali. 3 different herbs that I kind of been supplementing with.
Okay, give us a brief a
Very
quick little
brief. So
lesson on
basically,
each one of them.
okay, ashwagandha and astragalus are adaptogens, so they help your body glands become regulated, so you feel better. You got proper levels of serotonin, dopamine, all of the necessary things for you to operate and feel amazing. And then long cat ali is more of the sensual kind of herb, which I've been enjoying that.
Oh,
Yeah, it works. It works. Not that I was complaining before, but I came across my Instagram. I thought I follow a lot of herb pages and stuff, and I was like, well, let me see something, and I'm glad at what I saw.
Uh-oh.
that is hilarious.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, she works in the vitamin department at Sprouts, and she was telling me about ashwagandha. So I'll be getting some of that soon. See what
Please.
it
I actually
does.
have some right here. I put it in my green tea.
Oh,
It's in
that's what you
powder
were
form.
drinking. Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It helps me
Hmm.
be more relaxed, no anxiety, no stress, just accept life as it comes.
Okay. Peace,
Mm,
peace, tranquility. Y'all need it, child.
Yeah.
Black
right.
Blues. What did you
Okay,
Google,
so
sir?
I Googled basic street gang signs.
Oh Lord.
And the reason why I Googled that is I was teaching at I have a new group at the juvenile detention center. And I asked the little boy, I was like, what's your name? But we on Zoom and I couldn't hardly hear him. He going, I was like, what? What's your name? I said, sir, I can't understand you. Can you say it again? He said, CRUZ. I'm like, did that man just throw up gang signs? So I looked them up to see, like, can you spell stuff for gang signs? And you can. Oh, yes, you can. I got my GED. Like, I don't want to do them on here because I don't want nobody set tripping or trying to come
Please, no
after me.
plexing, no plexing.
No plexing, no plexing. But
No
I
black.
know how to. I know how to throw up the Crip. I know how to throw up the blood gang. It's different ways, and I even learned how to spell blood out with my fingers, like with your
Don't do
hand.
that. Don't do that.
I'm not
We
gonna
be
do it
like,
on
we
here,
want to
but
start doing
Oh.
it.
right, but I'm gonna have to look it up to see it again. But yeah, you can
You're a
actually
little
spell
rusty on your
things out.
feel.
I'm sorry.
Your fingers a little rusty, so you gotta look it up again.
That little roughy. I might need some of that Tyrannosaurus Rex that you drinking. So, Courtney,
Okay.
where did you get your GED
I
in?
can't stand you.
So earlier today, I was on the phone with two of my best friends who are heathens.
Oh
So
wait.
ended up looking up BDSM because I didn't know what that was. And
Well, you knew what
I
it was. You
found
just didn't
out.
know what it was called. Mm.
Yes,
Yeah.
I knew what it was, but I did not know what it was called. So I'm just gonna give you a brief. Okay, it is bondage, discipline, dominance, and submission. Now you can look that up if you want to. However, I would not advise you to go and look at the images because that's what I did. And I saw some very elaborate things. And I'm gonna leave it at
Mm.
that.
Now you gonna make me go get my GED. What you say about that?
I need to go.
Both of you little filthy McNasties. Both of
That
you
Would you go
little
sounds
look
nasty
again?
really.
selves.
Would you go
That
look
sounds
again?
B,
really.
it's BDSM. BDSM.
Would you go look again?
Would I go look at it? No, I don't want to go look again.
One time was
Mm-mm.
enough.
One time was enough, man. I
Oh
don't
Lord,
like
I'm
that kind
feeling
of
something
stuff.
in my aura. What's that? What's that? So if you feel so inclined, drop down in the comments. Let us know what the last thing you got your GED in.
The limits of my language are the limits of my world. This is a quote from Ludwig Wittgenstein. In this segment, we discuss the meanings and origins of old sayings.
Right. So have you ever heard somebody say, you put your foot in it? Or you to put your foot in it. What do
Yeah.
you
So
think,
put in
Levi?
it.
What do you think that means?
That means they threw down in the kitchen. They made a good dish.
Made a
That's
good dish.
that's
Yep.
how I think of it.
What about you, Court?
I think it means like you did your thing, like
Did your thing.
on whatever, because it could be whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Put your foot in
Right.
there.
Put in it.
Yeah.
So it is said that one of the possible origins of this is in like Haiti, some of the chefs might actually put their foot inside like the food that they cooking to add their personal little touch. So just put their foot in
Mhm.
it for their personal flavor. Hey, that sounds wild, but also it
That's
said
a
they
clean
could come
foot.
from like black magic or voodoo practices where they put a rabbit foot like in a stew because rabbits are rabbit's foot is supposed to mean luck or good luck.
Good luck.
So then
Yeah.
and it's supposed to have special powers or whatever. So they could stick a foot up in the stew, off in the soup. So then that's kind of where that derives from. When somebody them cook so good, they put special powers in that thing. They, you know what I'm saying, put their foot in
Now, see, that makes a lot more sense than the first explanation. And I think I could
it.
probably deal with the second one a little bit better. Because
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want
I
nobody
don't
somebody
putting
deal
their
with a
foot in your
rabbit's foot.
food.
I deal with a
somebody
rabbit's foot.
literally putting their foot in your food is disgusting. But someone putting something such as a rabbit, which is something that people eat anyway, in the foot, and a rabbit's foot in food, then that's I can deal with that a little bit better.
Yeah.
Mm.
So our next saying is water under the bridge. Black Blues. What do you think that means?
I always heard my mama say, "Oh, there's too much water under the bridge." So I thought it was like saying, like it's too much that we done been through. Like we can't go back there because it's too much that we done been through, and that's water under that bridge. And I don't know why the water under the bridge is like a bad thing, but
I don't either.
we
I
don't want
just
that
felt
water
like
that's underneath that bridge.
I
Yeah.
always felt like it was like, oh, that's in the past, that's over with, that's done with. So let's
Mm.
keep it moving. What about you, Levi? What do you think?
Well, off top, I would say water under the bridge. Water under the bridge, it happens all day, every day. It doesn't affect the bridge. So by you being on the bridge or being the bridge, you're unaffected by it. So I had a song that I did on my meditation album. And it's let it all pass like waves. Let it all pass. It's gonna be all right. It'll be okay. Let it all pass like waves. Let it all pass. So like basically that speaks to that same sentiment of letting the water flow, letting I was speaking to letting your thoughts flow because sometimes we have these crazy thoughts or these negative thoughts. And if you really just focus on it, like, oh my God, why did I think that? Do I really feel that way? You can really do some damage. So instead of focusing on every negative thing that comes across, just let it pass. Let it flow.
Yeah.
Man,
It's like the same things with thoughts, same things like things that happen in life. Maybe you feel somebody did do you wrong or they did the most disrespectful thing, but maybe that wasn't their intentions. And that goes back to say your language, it limits you to, you said something, what you said earlier, I feel
Yeah.
like it relates to that.
The limits of your language are the limits of your world. Yeah. And you're
Absolutely.
you're you're
man.
definitely on the right track with that because it's basically saying that events or situations that are in the past, they can't be changed. So it's basically no reason to go back to that. Like water under the bridge keeps flowing. So it's like you can't change it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that saying is believed to have derived from ancient Greece, and they would say that you cannot step twice in the same river. So it's like basically the water keeps flowing. You can't step in the same spot more than one time. There you
Hmm.
have it.
That's good. And so
That's
Darren,
very
you was right on
beautiful.
that. Keep
You were.
flowing in the river, keep flowing. Let it wash away like waves. In the river. I gotta get that because I don't know the
Let it
song
wash
and I
away
want
like waves. He
I don't know the
remixed the
song,
hell
but
out your song.
I want to know the song. It made me feel the way when you sang it. So
Yes, that was
I was just
nice.
like,
Yeah, I
oh,
gotta put it on. I don't know when's the right time to put the meditation EP on all streaming platforms, but it is available on heallovinspired.com. But I think I'm gonna be putting it up everywhere, even for free, really soon, so that everybody
Do
can just
that.
really enjoy it. It's something that you can just wake up and play and have a very beautiful first 30 minutes of your day. And why not? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sometimes I find myself waking up and scrolling through my phone, and that's just the wrong thing to do because that just puts you down a whole nother path. So I try to
Mhm.
make my mornings as beautiful as possible.
mm. What about the expression "cut your nose off to spite your face"? Courtney, what do you think that means?
I don't know what that means. My mom says that. I've never known what it meant. I think as a child hearing that, I just really got stuck on the idea of your nose being cut off. And for me, being very creative and imaginative, I think I kind of stopped there. My imagination just goes to, whoever the person is talking to, I'm looking at that person and I'm imagining them without a nose on their face. So I don't know.
Right. What about you, Levi? What does that sound like to you?
That just sounds like just being stubborn about a situation. Maybe you did something that somebody else did, and I don't know, and now you feel a way that they done. I don't know. It just sounds like stubbornness. You know.
Right. So what they say is to cut your nose off to spite your face is to disadvantage yourself while trying to hurt somebody else.
Hmm.
So now I always thought this
Right.
expression was cut your nose off despite your face. Like, and so that's why it didn't make sense to me, but it's to
Yeah.
spite your face. You're cutting your nose off to spite your face, but you're actually hurting yourself because that's your nose.
So
Right?
Right.
So what
basically,
they say
Black
this
people haven't been saying it right all these years. Black
right.
people have not
So
been saying it right.
so where this saying comes from is they say that Saint Eva, she's like the mother of all nuns in this particular place. And what was happening was the Viking pirates were coming in and they were gonna like invade. And she was like, "Oh, hold on. We got to make sure we protect our purity, so they won't try to come and get us and try to, eat on our coochies and stuff. We need to cut off.
Why
we
would
need
you
to cut
say that?
off. I mean, you know what I'm saying? She wanted to stay pure from the Viking pirates. So that she advised her nuns that were following her to cut off the nose and the upper lip so that when the Viking pirates come through, they'd be like, oh no, I don't want you. So what happened was when the Viking pirates got there, they were so disgusted by how these women looked that they burned that building down with them nuns in it. So they
And
were
killed
trying to
everybody.
protect their purity and they got burnt up. So
So
that's where
they
it comes
they
from. They cut off their nose and their upper lip.
they didn't even have
That's
a
insane,
chance
dude.
to eat up their coochies and stuff.
Not even not even a chance.
Yeah, they didn't get a chance to eat their
I hate the fact that you even said that. I hate the fact that you said that.
You know what?
Oh
The
God.
other one, Courtney, is pot to piss in. You remember that?
Pot to piss in or window to throw it out of, child.
Where do you think that come from, Levi Thee Great?
Oh, pot to piss in. My mom used to say that all the time. She used to use that in reference to somebody who ain't got nothing, ain't got no apartment, but got something to say. If you got a big mouth, but you ain't got nowhere to lay your head or nowhere to go, nowhere that you pay for, she would use that as a reference. No, my
Right.
mom's a beautiful, wonderful woman, by the way, but you know.
Yeah, we know Melissa. We know Melissa,
Melissa.
a beautiful woman. Shout out to Melissa.
Melissa.
Always.
But you know you used to say that, mama, pot to piss in. You know you used to say that.
Yeah, my mama so said, and she be like Courtney said, my mom like, he ain't got no pot to piss in or window to throw it out of.
Or a window to throw it out of. How about
I
that?
heard that last part. I ain't never heard the last
That.
part.
How about that? You
That
got
means
a
you
window
ain't
to
got
throw the piss out
nothing.
of. Do
Ain't
you
got nothing at all.
do you remember what that mean, Courtney, or where it came from?
I
Or
vaguely remember. I don't really remember.
right. So where it came from is back in the day, if you were poor, you would they would have like this bucket, a pot, and all the family members would piss in that pot because they would take the piss and go to the tannery because they used it to tan like animal skin. So they would buy the piss from the family. So that's where the expression piss poor come from. Because you were so poor you had to sell piss. You were piss poor. Well, in
Mm-mm-mm.
this instance, you so poor that you ain't even got a pot to piss in to go down to the tannery and sell the piss
To get no money.
to
That
get no
now
money.
that's
Oh, you broke.
now now you really ain't got nothing.
Oh, you
Yeah,
You
broke,
really
broke.
don't have nothing. You can't
yeah,
even
because you can't
sell
even
the
make nothing
piss
happen.
out your body.
You
Right. You
can't
can't
even make
even
nothing happen.
you don't even have a hustle at this point.
Can't make
You have no
nothing
hustle.
shake.
You got to at least have a
Piss
hustle.
ain't your piss ain't worth nothing.
Dang,
I
that's
can't
messed
sell
up.
that
Your
piss.
piss ain't even worth nothing.
That's
All
my
because they
new.
ain't got no pot. All because they ain't
Man,
got no
that
pot.
is my new thing.
That
Get out
ooh.
of here. Your piss ain't even worth nothing. Get out my face. Don't nobody take that from me. That's gonna be eventually
Unworthy piss
original.
having. Unworthy
Unworthy.
piss having.
Your piss isn't worthy. Get away from me.
That's horrible. That is
So this wraps up
absolutely
our
horrible.
Who Said That segment of the Versus 2 podcast. If you have any sayings or you want to tell us anything about the sayings that we went over and what you thought it meant, or if you have a different spin on it of something that you have looked up and know that that's what it is, just drop down in our comment section and let us know. In the long run, the most unpleasant truth is a safer companion than a pleasant falsehood. That is a quote from Theodore Roosevelt.
In this segment, we discuss things that affect our community, and that's the truth. Truth.
The truth.
Today's truism will discuss talent versus the person. Can we still be a fan of someone that has done something horrible? Levi the Great, what do you say?
I say yes. I believe that we can. And yeah.
You
Yeah.
can be a fan. It's so weird to be a fan to me of somebody that I know that has done some stuff. And what I'm gonna bring up is R. Kelly. You know, I used to love me some R. Kelly music. I'm a writer, so I love how this man writes and how he put things together. But now, knowing all the stuff he had going on, my mind's telling me no. It should, nigga. That
Now,
baby is a baby.
was that the right key,
Oh,
Levi?
you're not gonna do me.
I'm not sure, but when I said I was thinking about Chris Brown, and I know Chris Brown had that thing with Rihanna, and then he's had other things that kind of came up about him being
Mm,
abusive and whatnot. But I still do
mm-mm.
love and adore Chris Brown. Same with
Yes,
the allegations that were brought up against Michael, but he was cleared from all of those. And then even thinking about it's somebody else that I'm thinking about, but it's not
was
coming
it
to the
Tory
fore.
Lanez?
No, I'm not really.
Oh
I've never
no.
been too much of a fan of Tory Lanez. But you know, if you really think of all of the big celebrities, they not all of them, but some of them do have this hate train that kind of forms around them, and they're painted to be these bad guys, and they did these terrible things. They're stopping bags, they're paying for awards, this and that. So we hear things, negative things on the regular, and sometimes some people experience negative things happen to them. I haven't personally really experienced anything negative happen to me. Oh, yes, I have. Yeah, I would say maybe somebody that I've dated in the past that might have been a artist or something like that. No lie, I still wanted to know what was going on with their career and all that kind of stuff. But the fact that I was so heartbroken or that it changed my life so much, it kind of made me feel like a creep when I did go looking or go searching through their page and like, what's up with them? I hope they're doing great. You know what I'm saying? So in order to deal with that or compartmentalize that feeling, I just avoided it at all costs. So yeah, if it's more local, then sometimes it can be a bit more difficult. But I think at the end of the day, it really depends on where you're at in your healing process and how you're coping and dealing with things in your life as well as that situation.
Right.
So basically, compartmentalizing is the way to go when it comes to these people.
I think
You
that's
think
been a
that?
coping mechanism of me. Like I have to kind of, if something is still very triggering for me, sometimes I just have to remove it from my face altogether. You know, it might not be the
Mhm.
best thing, but sometimes it works for different people. You know.
So
Yeah,
what y'all say like with Bill Cosby? So we saw Bill Cosby. We grew up with Bill Cosby being like the Black American dad, and, you know, with the character Cliff Huxtable. And then there's these allegations that, you know, like they call him Pill Cosby because he was, you know, giving pills
that's so
to the
sad.
women and doing things with them. And then they locked this man up. But how do we feel about watching the Cosby Show after that? Can we still watch the Cosby Show and really separate
It's a great
that
question.
from, you know, who he was, or, you know, saying the things he did? Still be a fan of his? And if
I
you are
think
a
that
fan, are you condoning what he did?
I think that when it comes to the Cosby Show, I think that because I grew up watching that, I did not know Bill Cosby. I knew um I knew the character Cliff
He's Cliff
Huxtable.
Huxtable.
Oh wow.
So is who I actually have the connection with. I don't necessarily have a connection with Bill Cosby. I didn't really begin to know who Bill Cosby was as a comedian and as an actor until later on in my life. And it wasn't even like I had became a fan of his. I still was engulfed in the character Cliff Huxtable. So I don't know, it's kind of hard for me because I don't think that I ever really looked up to him actually. I never thought about that. I
Right.
never realized that I never really looked up to Bill Cosby. I really looked up to Cliff Huxtable. I'm just having
Yeah.
that revelation right now.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the
That's
same time,
weird.
Cliff Huxtable couldn't exist without Bill Cosby being that driving force behind it and saying, this is the kind of show I want to do. This is what I want to put out there. Because he did do a lot
Right,
of positive images for Black people during that time that was not on TV. So
right.
do we erase all of that? It's just like right now. You know, they saying Dr. Seuss had wrote some racist stuff, and he had like little Asian people in his books, and he drew them like with like slanted eyes and the little hats that we had. And they said it's like I think something about slavery and Black people that's in his book. So they are trying to cancel Dr. Seuss. But I
I
mean,
saw
do you
that.
do that? I mean, he did write Green Eggs and Ham,
And that I love that book.
man.
I
And so it's
really
like
love Dr. Seuss.
you say, yo, he did something wrong. He made some mistakes, but these are the good things that he did. Like, can we separate that and still appreciate him for the good things?
I can't appreciate Justin Timberlake for his good things after that thing happened with Janet.
But you know what? I'm gonna
Mm.
say, because in my head at first I was like, well, we don't know what Justin did. Like, but then I realized, well, when they were coming after her, she was saying, well, it was a wardrobe malfunction, and he act like he couldn't even speak about it. And then all these years later, he apologized and said, I should have said something. And I'm like, yo, I didn't even.
You're disgusting to me. I'm sorry. After that,
He
I'm
should have
like, because
said
Janet
what though?
suffered. Janet suffered tremendously. He might not have been able to turn things around for her because the guy that was over the whole network and everything, now he has been fired and charged and all that kind of stuff. Thank God. Now she can, come back and rightfully take what's hers and get the respect that she deserves. But I just felt like he could have done so much more for Black people, Black women, as a whole in that moment. He could have made history. He had the opportunity to, but instead he did the thing. I feel like he copped out in that moment. So yeah, I guess sometimes it depends on the circumstance. You
What
know
should
what I'm
he have
saying?
said though? What should he have said? Sorry, what should he have said?
I think that maybe instead of making jokes about her and all that kind of stuff, and like, yeah, I did it, haha. That was the kind of energy that was kind of given. I think he should have been more
Apologetic.
apologetic, and then like this. Do y'all realize what they're doing to Janet's career? I'm sitting here thriving, and Janet's career is just this one situation that's just dismantled everything for her. And like if that's I don't know. I think he benefited from that moment a lot, and he milked it as much as he could. And now years later, that everybody's looking at him as this bad guy, and maybe he's on a decline. Now all of a sudden he wants to say, "Oh, you're right. Yeah, I did do this wrong, and I did." It's too late now. You do it while you were at a career high. Do it while you were at your peak. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, no, he could have came out and said, yo, that was a malfunction. That wasn't planned. Janet didn't want to show her nipple down to the TV screen on the CBS.
Uh-huh.
She didn't want to do that. But first of all, she's Janet Jackson. She ain't got to do that.
Exactly.
What's it gonna do for her?
Exactly.
So yeah, and you know what he also did? He apologized to Britney Spears because he she was saying she was a virgin or whatever, and he was like, yeah, he was going on radio stations saying that he slept with her, and he was also going on radio stations. I mean, he did "Cry Me a River," and he said that the song was for her, and he insinuated that she cheated on him. And none of this is probably true because he said, I do apologize. I should not have done that.
And that she really took a hit.
Wow.
A lot of people say that was the beginning of the end for Britney, when that was like one of the first big hits she took publicly, and she took that very hard. So it's like, damn, like you, especially back then, like you're out here playing Russian roulette with people's lives and careers, and I don't think that's just okay. You know what I'm saying?
I did not know all of that.
Is that the Stanley Steamer?
Yes, that's the Stanley Steamer people. They also play bowling. They have a bowling alley upstairs, but they just that's what it sounds like. And then after that, they turn around and vacuum the floor 10 times a day with the most powerful vacuum I've heard in life.
10 times a day.
Yeah, they be up there vacuuming my carpet. But anyway. So all in all, what we're saying is it depends on the situation, or how connected you were to the artist that you can counsel. Because like R. Kelly, I can't do. Bill Cosby, I can listen to. Justin Timberlake didn't have that many songs that I like, besides that one album that Timberland produced the whole thing. So I can go either way on it.
Yeah.
So all right. So we just
I'm up in the air too.
Right. So let us know. Drop down in the comments. Let us know. Can you forgive an artist? Can you still listen to an artist that you feel has done some crazy, horrible stuff? And can you say, okay, that's the artist and this is the person? Drop down in the comments.
Ursula K. Le Guin says, one voice speaking truth is a greater force than fleets and armies.
In this segment, I guess, spill the truth, or as we like to say, they spilled their tea. Levi the Great, are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, you must first take an oath. Repeat after me. Even if my truth offends the people that I love.
Even if my truth offends the people that I love.
I promise to spill the whole truth.
I promise to spill the whole truth.
The buck-tooth truth.
The buck-tooth truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
Because that's how it showed up in my life.
Because that's how it showed up in my life.
Ooh, so now we got that out the way. We gotta talk about some things. Seeing that
Oh,
you were a vegan that would occasionally eat fried chicken on the weekend, what was the hardest part about being vegan?
the hardest part about being vegan was I was 25 years old when I decided to embark on this journey. And it was my taste buds was moving faster than the recipes I was learning. And it's still that way to this day. Like, you know, there's so many non-vegan foods that I can have and enjoy that I know that are my favorites and that I know that I like. But it's a lot of vegan things that I don't have not even discovered yet. So at this time in my life, I'm no longer vegan. But I did really enjoy that piece of my journey. I guess the hardest part would be just learning new things to enjoy and not becoming bored within
Right.
that, or having a bigger why. What's your why? You know?
So how long were
Speaking
you a
of what
vegan?
is your why, speaking of what is your why were you eating fried chicken? Like what happened?
What was the fried chicken? So it was so interesting. So okay, so let me just really break it down to you. The reason why that would happen so often, especially like you were around me a lot in the beginning, it had got to a point where I was not eating chicken or meat products every weekend. I had actually gotten to a point when I moved by myself, when I was working my two jobs, where I would only eat like raw vegan for a long period of time. I did it all together for 3 years on and off. The longest stretch of time I did was 3 months raw vegan, 6 months regular vegan. And what I experienced was I was trying to live this perfect lifestyle where it was full of positivity, and anything negative, I just denounced it. I deleted it from my social media. If it was at work, I ignored it. Whatever it was, I didn't want any more negativity because at 25, I felt like I had experienced and seen enough negativity. So I didn't want to see it or experience anymore. So the bad side to that, me trying to be so perfect and so positive, I would end up having these binge moments where everything that I was running from and trying not to do, I ran and I did it for 2 or 3 days at a time. And you know what I'm saying? I was just doing it, doing it, doing it, and then I would come out of it. And I'm like, okay, so now I'll go back to being a perfect spiritual person. You know what I'm saying? So it was just really about finding balance. I needed to find balance.
And you found it down to the fried chicken shack.
I love how you can make a joke out of just about anything. But yes,
Man,
I did. But I found
yeah.
balance down at the chicken shack and the seafood shack and occasionally the vegan shack.
That's what's up. So also with you being vegan, you're also a crystal enthusiast. So
Yeah.
what is your favorite crystal? And tell us what power it possesses.
My favorite crystal would have to be citrine, and it is a confidence stone, manifestation, abundance, creativity stone. So it's helping bringing those visions and those thoughts into fruition. And I'm all about seeing like things that were mentally in my mind, writing it down on paper, and then actually creating and see it before my eyes. Like I really get a kick out of when I'm able to do things like that. So citrine kind of helps guide me along that journey of manifestation. So that's been my favorite crystal. That and Amazonite, which is a great stress relief stone. And it's great for you living in your true self and being truly happy with who you are.
Oh, cool. Hey, I remember you gave like one time you was recording in a studio session for my slam team, and
Uh-huh.
my throat was like kind of like, yeet, yeet, yeet. And you was
Uh-huh.
like, here, grab this one, and you gave me a crystal, and it cleared my throat up. What was that?
Blue kyanite. That's blue kyanite. That's the stone. It's a blue stone because it's for the throat chakra, the communication chakra. So it helped clear out that throat chakra when you were holding that stone. You were, strengthening your communication skills, and you no longer had that crunch or crackle in your throat, and you was ready to speak your poem. Then you knocked it out the park. Matter of fact, don't you got a snippet of that or something? You might have to play that,
Oh
because you
yeah,
really did your thing.
one day. So no, that was crazy though, because I didn't really believe in the crystal. He was like, "Yeah, you need this." I was just like, "Man, whatever." And I grabbed it, and like, it really helped.
Mm-hmm.
It really
Mm-hmm.
helped.
Wow,
And actually,
that is interesting.
I'll show you guys right here, citrine, my favorite citrine that I have. It's very pretty.
Oh,
citrine drizzy with calcite pieces in it.
That is huge.
Yeah, it's huge, and this is one of my favorite stones. Yeah, it's very pretty.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what is the meaning behind heal, love, inspire?
Heal, love, inspire. It. I think what was that? 2018, 2017 was that transition into me being independent and going through spirituality and things myself. Vegan came around the same time as the crystals and the meditation. So everything was like kind of layered into one. And out of that came me working with crystals and meditating with crystals and loving them so much. And I couldn't stop buying them. And eventually I was like, you know what? I'm going to help others find this information that I found. The way these crystals have helped me, how can I give them out? At first, I was giving them out with different projects and things like that and giving them out at different shows. Eventually, I began selling them and all that kind of stuff. And just, it's basically about the journey of healing, loving, learning to love better, learning truly what love is, and inspiring. That's everything that I want to do in my life. Heal from the past, heal from the things that are holding me back, strengthening the way I love, learning new ways to love, learning new layers of love as I go through my life, and inspiring others to become better and be better individuals themselves.
Right. So speaking of like growing from the past, what about like the perception of your family, like with your upbringing, as it relates to your upbringing?
Yeah, well, like the way I live my life now, it's kind of a mixture of both of how I grew up and how I am now. Well, not necessarily how I grew up, because I grew up in a situation where my parents weren't not necessarily spiritual or religious or anything like that. And they were, pretty young when they had me. And I was a kid coming up. I had ADD, had all this energy. I didn't want to pay attention to school. I was very talkative. I always wanted to act out. And now, fast forward years later, I think my parents look at me and they see what I do when I get on stage, and they're like, "Wow, that's what we should have been pushing for all this time, because this is where this energy can go." Because even in my everyday life, I do have a lot of energy and a lot of ideas, but I cannot release that in any pure fashion like I can when I'm on stage. Like on stage, that's when all of it comes out, and it's just so free flowing, and it just makes me so happy. But I think I was misunderstood as a child, so it caused a lot of conflict in many areas. My confidence took a shot. I didn't really believe in myself, but I knew I was put here to do this. Since I was young, I wanted to be an entertainer, a singer, so I just kept pushing. Regardless of whatever came and set me back, I kept getting back up and I kept going. And now we're here, and I'm still getting back up and still going, because there's been many more things that's come more in my adult life that I could have just closed shop and said I'm done. But I just keep going. I keep
Right.
getting back up,
So alcoholism is something that you struggled with in the past. What would you
Definitely.
say was the source of it?
The source of it, I'm going to be completely honest. I started drinking when I was 13 or 14 years old with my mom. And it was something that we would do casually on the weekends. And my mom used to always do the box wine. She would drink the box wine. And one day I remember I was going to the store with her, and she's like, "You drinking tonight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm drinking tonight." And it was my first time drinking. I loved it. I felt like it was great. My mom had the philosophy of, "I would rather you do it with me than be out on the street and do it with somebody else. I'd rather you do it at home where you're safe, where I can watch you," and all of that.
I was going to ask you that too,
Yeah,
because
so
my
that
dad
part,
had that sort of concept too. Like
mhm.
if if I was going to try something, he wanted me to do it with him and kind of control the situation. So yeah, I remember
And I
drinking like
can't.
wine coolers at 15 and 16.
hmm That's the same with me. And I don't blame, I love that she did that, but I think that mixed with all the things that I had started developing, the anxiety, the depression that I did not know what it was, but I know I felt it every day. Mixing that with me not being mentally ready to start drinking, and me beginning to abuse alcohol, and now using alcohol as liquid courage and saying, "Oh, I'm cooler when I'm drinking. People like me better. I'm more myself. I'm more free when I'm drinking. So I'm always, whenever I'm going out, I'm drinking." And then it turns into whenever I'm performing, I'm drinking. And then, sometimes I'm drinking too much and I do too much on stage and I'm embarrassed. And now I don't want to perform. Maybe I'm not meant for this. I did so much for such a long time that I feel like just kind of held me back and held me in a circle up until 25. 25
Right.
was,
So
yeah.
how did you recover from that? Like, how did
I
you
bet
recover from?
that was it was I got sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm not getting anywhere in my career. I don't like my life. I hate my life. I'm depressed. I'm working a job. I would much rather be on tour somewhere. When I'm not at work, I'm at home drinking and I'm not progressing. I'm not doing anything. Something has to change. Something has to give. It can't be everybody
Yeah.
else. So
Yeah.
what can I do with my immediate circle? I can cut everybody off. I can go into solitude. I can start meditating 3 hours a day. I can figure out what it truly is that I need to do to get my life together and then come back to the world. So that's what I did when I moved by myself. I went into that solitude. I did not mind being lonely. I didn't have any friends. I deleted social media. I didn't care. It was awesome. And it gave me time to sort through a lot of the things that really hurt me. And they still come up now because I'm not perfect in my practice of meditating and everything now. But now I'm able to look at it and say, I remember where that came from. And I know why I feel
Right.
that way. I remember the exact moment, the first event that's making me feel how I feel right now. And
So now
I'm
you know
not
your
going to go
triggers.
so ham. I'm not going to go so ham on you. And I'm not going to go so ham on this situation because I know it's more me than you. You didn't even mean, you wasn't even, you when you said that, when you did that, it wasn't even that deep for you. But it's because I'm so hurt or I got so much
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't happen, that's what that's tied to. So I think that's progress and that's growth. Me and being able to acknowledge and trace it back and say, all right, let me put myself back together, you know.
Yeah, we have to know our triggers. We definitely need
Mhm.
to know our triggers. So we
And
asked
before I
you,
didn't, I was totally aloof. I don't know why I feel. Why
yeah,
am I so mad? Why did that make me so mad? I'm mad. You know.
but that's a part of that. That's a part, definitely a part of that healing process to
Uh,
actually know what those triggers are and then have tools in place in order to get yourself to not be as triggered by those things or not triggered at all by them. So we asked you to give us 3 words to describe yourself for our defining moments of the past segment. And those words were,
You said that you were fleeting, and Webster describes that as vanishing quickly. You also said you were nervous, and that's unnaturally or acutely uneasy. And you said you were learning, which is acquiring knowledge, wisdom, or skill.
mhm.
after hearing how Webster has described it, do you think that it's accurate or would you change something?
No, I think that's accurate. I think
Pretty
fleeting.
accurate.
Yeah, I think
Right. So let
yeah.
us know an instance that you would say that you were fleeting.
Fleeting was in the connections, the relationships, the friendships that I was building. Like I would cancel my sister. And that's look, that's to hear all the way from Seabrook. Like, what? You did what? No, but my sister, like we I've counseled my sister before. Like I was with the counsel culture way back in 2012, 2013, when counsel culture wasn't even didn't have a name yet. You did me wrong, you did something to me. Oh, that's it. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it all. I've done it all. I gotta go. And you might not even done anything that bad to me or that wrong to me, but I gotta go. I'm too. Yep. Yep. That was me. That was
So,
me. And you know,
so
yeah.
what contributed to you being nervous?
Just being afraid of being hurt and because knowing how I felt and what it was when I looked at people that I said I loved. And back then I had this whole thing where I used to idolize people more than look at them as no more my equal. So I put people above me. And I know in my past and me growing up and doing that with my mom and my older sister and other people, period, I always end up being hurt and I always feel less than because I've built that. I've done that.
Mhm.
So me being afraid of that, me being afraid that somebody has leverage over me or have the power to make me feel too vulnerable or go too far. I don't know. It was just really weird. It was a really weird space to be. I think it was just not knowing, ignorance, not really knowing what love is, having a surface idea of what life is, period, in general.
Right. So were you clinically diagnosed with anxiety, or it's just something
Um,
that you know that you have?
Oh, I know I have. Like I used to walk around Prairie View and not breathe. The whole campus. Yeah, like I
Wow.
would be scared to breathe. You know what I'm saying? Just being around so many people. And I feed in my mom. My mom's when I'm driving the car with her, like she'll clench on to that side door so quickly. But you know, I don't drive that. You might say differently, but I don't feel like I drive that crazy. But my mom has that about her. She doesn't want to drive on the freeway. Different things like that. And all my life, I've never understood it. I'm like, what, girl? You get out there and live life. I'm what you doing? Why you sitting at the house? But now that I'm getting older, like I just see and I feel like so different. And I look at my parents so differently. And I can treat them tenderly now because I understand it on a whole nother perspective. And I know I'm bouncing. But does that answer what you asked me?
So tell me
Yeah.
something. Oh, go ahead, Zafus.
No.
Okay. Tell me something that you learned about life along the way.
About life along the way. Many things. Well, one thing that's sticking out to me right now is that it's hard to say it. Just because I would say this, I'm gonna say it like this: just because you think something is over doesn't mean it's over. You might think or stay in your mind or feel that something is over, but I think just be careful about what things you do and say and what uh, what bridges you burn and what you do when you part ways from situations and things. Be very careful because you never know what life will bring and what different circumstances you might be in with that same individual or other situation. So I guess, live a life full of grace. Treat people how I
Yeah.
want to be treated, you know?
I like
Right.
that.
Try to be a bit more giving. And then especially recently, my dad being in the hospital, really start giving people their flowers. Stop waiting, and stop thinking people are going to always be there, because I've lost other family members thinking that they were going to always be there. And now, you know, you want to cry now and you want to be sad now, but you had time. You should have took
Right.
advantage. So take advantage of life too, as well.
Well, tell us something that you learned about yourself along the way.
Myself. Okay. What I learned about myself. That I am resilient and I'm more powerful than I thought. And that I am dramatic at times and I make things bigger than what they actually are. And I think that's kind of tied to my anxiety. Very dramatic at
Well,
times. Very dramatic. Yeah. But you know what's cool though? Before I would be dramatic and then I would just be done for the whole day, maybe the whole week. Now I can be dramatic, get it out, go take a 30-minute breather or maybe a 10-minute breather, and I'm good. I'm back. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that comes with life. I guess that comes with not giving so many fucks, you know, as you get older. So yeah, that's one cool thing that about me. I used to be a little bit more dramatic than what I am. I'm a little better now.
cool. So we asked you to give us 3 words to describe your present self, 5 defining moments of present. And those words were,
Resilient, springing back or rebounding. Confident, having no uncertainties about one's own ability, correctness, or successfulness. Graceful, warmly or deeply appreciative of kindness or benefits received. After hearing how Webster described it, do you think that these things are accurate or would you change something about them?
Accurate.
cool. Well, what is something that you had to bounce back from?
Um, One thing being I transitioned pretty quick. My life changed quickly and quickly in many different fashions. So I was used to doing something in my comfort zone, and I created this bubble and this network of how I worked and how I created and how I put out music. But then now I got into a relationship. I'll say that I got into a relationship. So we're building this bubble, this new engine and paradise of love whatever you want to call it. And now I have to figure out, how can I fully be my full artistic self, and how do I remain who I am and keep my center while being new part of this new bigger entity. And it was
Right.
challenging for me at times. I lost myself as an artist, and I think I lost myself as a person for a while, trying to figure out who am I now and what am I now. What I realized is, let's just go back to the basics. Let's go back to the foundation. Let's go back to where you were when you first began this whole thing. And just coming back to self and coming back into my center has been really great, because now I have this beautiful entity that's growing here. And I also have this other beautiful entity of creativity that's growing here. And
Right.
sometimes they merge, sometimes they're separate, and it's beautiful.
Right.
Just
See,
figuring out
that's a great
balance.
thing. Yeah. How to
Uh,
bring who you are into, and how who you are and the things that you provide builds into this brand new thing. That's
right.
beautiful. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, because it definitely should evolve and not be a situation where you lose who you are in order to have something else. It should be a
Right.
merge of things. It should evolve into something more. Or it should be an asset, basically, you know?
Yeah. And
So
I
what
tried to
makes
lose
you,
myself. I've tried to lose myself. It doesn't work.
yeah, you
It's
can't,
miserable.
yeah, you can't run from yourself, you you're
Uh,
you're always around yourself. So that's something you can never run away from.
mhm.
So what makes you most confident?
What makes me most confident? Um, Performing, creating, just being able to present myself in the best fashion possible. Um, Growing as an artist and seeing what I'm capable of, and seeing how I can make my life and my experiences help others. And as my Google speaker chimes in, because they think I'm talking to him, but I'm not. Stop listening to me. Like, it's not cool. I did not say. So chill out. So yeah. I did
That's funny
ask
how
you a question.
that's funny how that thing kind of start talking. I have Alexa, and if I say Alexa dismiss, my dog gets confused and she think I'm talking to her, and so she
I
runs to her
saw that.
room. It is
I
so
saw that.
funny. I was like,
He
people are
is
not gonna
crazy.
believe when I say this, so I have to film this. I'm like, because I'm always talking to her, so I'm like, Alexa dismiss, and she takes off. Her name is not
Oh
Alexa.
my God.
Not
Like,
even Alexa. Her name is not even close to Alexa.
That's so
He
funny.
is crazy.
That is so funny.
so Levi, what are some of your insecurities?
Some of my insecurities. My biggest insecurity would be my weight. And if I'm the best, if I rather I'm in the best shape or the worst shape or the middle shape or whatever shape, seeing myself at my best body when I was on a very strict workout regimen and being vegan, sometimes I had to go through that too, of not feeling worthy. But just because I don't have the perfect eight pack, it doesn't mean I'm not talented. It doesn't mean I'm not gifted and I don't have the things that I was still, that still have been given to me and the things that I've built upon. So I guess that is insecurity. And that started from my childhood as well. I was always treated like the fat kid. I always wanted everybody else's food. I was 10 pounds heavier than my brother and sister. So yeah, dealing with that, that's probably one of my biggest insecurities. But I don't care
Oh,
now.
yeah, I remember. Like when one time you were on a diet, and
Uh,
like you was like, I'm on a diet, but then you went to CC's Pizza and ate the whole buffet.
and I bet you I called it a treat meal. Did I call it a treat meal or did I call it a treat day?
No, you actually felt bad after you did it. Like I
Yeah,
seen
I
you
used to be
ate,
Oh,
very counterproductive at times.
and I
wow.
was like, okay, yeah, he ate the whole buffet.
I did. And I think you got a picture of me licking my finger like this or something like that and
I
chewing,
yeah. There's a picture of you with the
surfacing
whole
somewhere
buffet
with
in
a
front
pizza.
of
Uh, uh,
MCC's pizza with an afro and some glasses. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. But you know what? You got it together. You got your raw vegan diet going, and then you start eating chicken. But now you found your happy medium, you know?
Uh-huh.
So I
yeah.
Keto.
feel that. Keto.
So tell me, what is Levi grateful for?
I'm grateful for waking up this morning, being here with y'all right now. I'm grateful for the opportunities that presented themselves. Me being able to having the time, the wherewithal to do things the way I want to do them. I'm grateful for the more beautiful things that are coming for the rest of this year. Just seeing more of my visions and my dreams manifest. I'm grateful to wake up every day and be able to move closer to that and to spend time with the people that I love.
Ooh.
And to drink bubbly. I don't know if I
Booblet.
can.
Poor Booblet. He get paid for poor
Okay.
Booblet. So what would your current self tell your childhood self?
They don't really mean it. Don't take it so seriously. Like bridge under the water. Like water under the bridge.
Water under the
Just let it
bridge.
pass off. I would say, and most of all, I would say stay focused. You're right. You got it. You're right. You already know. You're right.
So who would you say contributed most to who you are today?
Ooh. Contributed most to who I am today. Um, as much as I don't, or I wanted to not admit it at first, and I'm starting to realize it as time goes on, my dad. I'm like, I am my dad. I have the entrepreneurial mindset of my dad. I have the big vision where I write really inspiring things down on paper. I found some of my dad's scraps and stuff where he used to write up things, and it was very beautiful and inspiring. And I do the same thing. The only thing is my dad had such a great life and he's provided such a great opportunity for us where I can take the vision, where I can get the baton and run it a little bit further. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm just really grateful to have a dad like him. And even with all that maybe I didn't like, it's a lot of great things about him that I subconsciously picked up on just because him being who he is.
Right. And you are his namesake too. So
Yeah.
Junior.
Yeah. And I think he knew what he was doing. I didn't know what they was doing, but I figured it out. I figured it out.
Cool. So imagine if someone said that you can rub all the crystals you want, sing all the songs about healing, bang on them bowls, and but once you're an alcoholic, you're always an alcoholic. I want you to look into the camera and tell that person exactly how you feel. I want you to let go and let have.
I would say, on one part, I kind of agree with you. I would say if you know that alcohol is something that you have drowned your sorrows in before, why keep cycling back? Why keep giving yourself access and allowing yourself to be drowned in that? You can beat on all the bowls and have all the manifestations during the day. But if you spend all your nights throwing back shots and bottles of vodka and what else it is, then yeah, absolutely. Alcohol is going to always be alcohol. But with that work that you do during the day comes the faith and comes the work through the night. So let's say faith without work is dead. So if you're saying all the right things and praying all the right prayers, but you still going to the 7-Eleven and buying that Four Loko, then yes, absolutely, you're correct. But if you make the mental change and the switch and say, okay, I'm ridding myself of that for now because that's no longer benefiting to my life and to where I desire to be in my future. If you make that mental decision along with beating on the bowls and having the positive affirmation and stuff, then you go get somewhere. Your actions got to match what you doing. Because you're not just doing the banging and all that stuff just to put it on social media and show everybody else. You got to really believe it. You got to really have faith that you can drop that habit and that you can become who you truly want to be. And that's that on that.
You know what's so crazy is
That's that.
that's how we end that. That's how we end that
Yes.
segment. After you say it, we say, and that's that on that. So
That's so funny.
we
Well,
didn't even have to say it.
So that's that on that. All right, we're going to give you a word or a phrase, and we want you to give That's the first word that comes to your mind when you hear it.
So the first word
Ready?
is music.
Passion. Love.
Manifestation.
Me, my life.
Dream.
Reality.
Black people.
The power.
Social injustice.
So yesterday.
Success.
Inevitable.
Fame.
Inevitable.
Erica Badu.
The queen. Inspiration.
Fried chicken.
Oh, Popeyes, are y'all watching this? I want my card just like Beyonce got, and I'm not playing. I want my Popeyes card. Give me my Popeyes card. And I want the one that works in Louisiana too. So I go to the New Orleans one.
Oh my
Frenchies, you
God.
too. Frenchies.
All right. And the last word is daring.
The truth.
Mm.
All right. So fill in the blank. I should not say this on the Birthing Truth podcast. This is totally TMI, but
Ready back.
it's saying fill in the blank. I should not say this on the Birthing Truth podcast. It is totally TMI, but
I'm currently on an egg fast where I eat egg, cheese, and butter for every meal. My mom got me
Wait,
on it.
what?
I'm currently on an egg fast where I eat egg, cheese, and butter for each meal. But I kind of
Raw?
sneak out sometimes. Don't tell my mom, but I had vegan ice cream I had keto ice cream yesterday. But it's all supposed to be all your meals. You eat it, by the end of the day, you eat a carton of eggs. Right? It's boiled, deviled, fried, or
so
braised.
your real thing that's total TMI is you is farting.
Quite a
No,
few
but
Dutch ovens. Quite a few Dutch ovens. Sorry.
You gotta be eating a carton of eggs a day.
Yeah.
that's
I
horrible.
don't poop as much though. That's probably
Oh.
TMI too. That's
The
gross.
thing that sticks out to me is that you ate that carton of keto ice cream and you weren't supposed to.
Don't tell my mama. Mama, are you watching? Oh God. I love you. I'm playing, Mom. I really did the egg thing. I really did. I didn't have sausage earlier.
Oh Lord, you just
Oh
really
my
cheating. Did you say it's eggs, cheese, and what?
It's only supposed to be egg, cheese, and
Butter.
butter. It fast
Oh,
track
so
your
you can
weight
make a
loss.
good quiche or
You can make a
omelet.
quiche.
Hmm.
You can make a quiche. Can you believe I'm on this
Okay.
side of the spectrum because I was just over there not
Right.
trying to touch any animal products, and now I'm all the way here. But I feel great.
Right.
I feel great.
Well,
I feel good.
That's
You know?
interesting. All
So,
right. So give us your social media so
my
people
social
can know
media
where to
is
find you. And then tell us what projects you got coming up.
Oh yes. So right now we are in the era of Levi's. We are creating that relentless
Oh,
slow cook. We have the showcase coming up on 317 at 725 Bar and Lounge. It's also crawfish night. Free entry, free parking. Y'all come out. We're also looking for vendors and we have an open mic portion. You can find me on all social media at Levi Thee Great. 2 E's, Thee Great. And you can find my music on all streaming platforms. Just type Leviism, Leviism, and it'll come right up. Check out Manifest first, and then Body Language. I think y'all gonna like that. And then something. Y'all really gonna like Sunflower too, because I remember, Sunflower. That's where it's at.
cool. You know, my song by you is "Woke up in the morning, started dancing all around. Woke up
Hey,
in the
welcome to
morning,
this
started
one.
dancing
Whoa,
all around.
Woke.
Hey.
It's too legit to know the good one
Oh
too.
yeah. We watched the video when Courtney was over here. We was watching the video, and I was like, "This is my song. Too
Too
legit.
legit.
Too
Too,
motherfucking legit."
too legit. Yeah, we want to do a
Yeah.
video for Woke. So if we have any dancers out there, anybody that would like to contribute to Levi the Great in a great way, come on out or inbox me. Y'all have my contact. Reach out to me if you want to be in a video or anything like that, or if you want to contribute something. Just feel free to inbox me and let me know what you got and how we can collaborate, come together, and build this into something amazing.
Right. I'll let you know. I know a few twerk stalls, so I'll send them. You know.
Okay.
So I want y'all to follow me on Instagram at I am Black Bluez. Also, you can follow me on Facebook at Vincent Johnson. Also, follow my TikTok, guys, please. I'm really doing amazing things over there. And everybody watch my shit, but they don't like my shit. So I want y'all to hit that heart when you see me on there, cutting up back in the pool. You can find me Super Vince, SUPA Vince.
Hey.
And I can be followed at the Courtney Elaine brand on Instagram, the CE brand on Twitter, and like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Pushing Pretty. Learn all about me and living this wheelchair lifestyle. Because you know, a lot of y'all need some help figuring out some things. So that's where you need to go to figure those things out. Okay. All right. So we are the Birth and Truth Podcast on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and we can be tweeted at Birthing Truth.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Subscribe.